mate.
John
Yeah,
Sloan, lucky enough to be joined by Oban Elliott, who's, in my opinion, one of the most interesting, exciting young prospects, one of the most exciting amateur fighters fighting out of the UK at the moment. He meets Ivan Blanita at Cagewarriors 100 in a European Grand Prix semi-final. Oban, thanks so much for coming on. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm golden, mate.
Uh,
I'm good.
I I always like asking amateurs, particularly those that go on to do well successfully, about their route into MMA. I asked your teammates Mitchell and Chris about it, and kind of why they chose it, because there seems to be the different routes that people can take into MMA, and I'm particularly interested in kind of which backgrounds and disciplines people come from in order to be successful.
Yeah. What you want to know about mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started off. I think I was like 7, 8 years old. Started off taekwondo. My father always used to take me there. My mother and father used to take me to taekwondo and that. And then I sort of dipped off a bit for a couple of years, and then when I was about 12, I think I properly took my kickboxing, took that up, competing regularly since I was about 12, 13 in kickboxing, and then as soon as I could, I got cracked on with MMA. Like, yeah.
What was the transition like from Taekwondo to MMA? Because to kickboxing rather, because I used to do
Yeah,
Taekwondo, and it's a really different feel because Taekwondo, it's during the day, and you can it's not unusual for someone to have 8 fights a day. Whereas
yeah,
when you cross into the kickboxing, it's not quite MMA, but it's slightly more like grammarized.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, it was a lot of that early on. It was I'd had a lot of days where, oh, what's happened there? Are you on? Yeah. Oh, my
Yeah, we're on.
battery. Um, I'd have like a day on a Sunday. It'll be you get there at like 10, and then you'd have to wait around all day, and you'd have like 4 fights on that day, like at different times. You might fight as soon as you get there, or fight like 4 hours later. It was a nightmare, but that sort of like waiting about nerves and all that. I've had that from an early age, so like going into MMA, especially the transition, like it felt more natural, and I always wanted to do that anyway. It was just having the opportunity to to train and fight really.
And what was the transition like from kickboxing to MMA? Because coming from the kickboxing, for your age, you probably would have been, from what you've gone on to do in MMA, one of the strongest guys at a kickboxing gym. Going into MMA, some people find that quite difficult because they're kind of the beginner and they don't have it all their own way in terms of the ground game. Is that something that
Yeah,
you had to deal with?
I had to deal with that. Yeah, it was like my first. Me and my brother always used to do. Sat in the house, we'd watch like the UFC on the TV, and then when they'd be grappling, because we were just kickboxing at the time, but we couldn't afford to go and grapple and all that. So we were kickboxing twice, 3 times a week, and we'd figure out what they were doing on the ground. So if that, like, we'd figure out that was a guard, Joe Rogan would be saying that's guard, that's half guard, and we sort of knew what we were doing, like to an extent. But then, as we started training, we realised, I really took to it quite naturally because I mean, as far as flat out grappling and for MMA, I've only been consistently training 6 days a week as an MMA fighter as soon as I could afford to. That was January last year, 2017. But before that, I was obviously always training and working on my skills. But flat out training, grappling every day, I sort of had in my head I knew what to do, and then transitioning over, it was sound like took to it pretty well. Well,
Yeah.
as you can see.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You made your amateur debut just over 18 months ago, which is crazy considering what you've gone on to do. 6-0, 6 knockouts, 5 in the first round. It really
Yeah.
couldn't have gone better, could it?
But I'm not surprised, mate. I don't want to come across arrogant saying that, but as far as like the knockouts go, I've been punching and kicking for what I'm 20, nearly 21 now. Been punching and kicking stuff for 8, 9 years. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be all right at it by now. So especially with them little gloves, I've been taught to punch and kick properly. So that's it speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Well, when I watch you, what strikes me about you is you're very powerful and precise. And in kind of UK amateur MMA, it's not often that those two go together. You've either got a powerful brawler or someone that's technical and not very powerful. You bring both of those aspects together in combination perfectly. Is that what sets you apart?
That's the difference, mate. Yeah, I think they can't handle the power, and they can't handle the power, and they can't handle the speed, it seems. And I welcome any challenge. Like you say, 18 months ago, I had my debut, I had the kid I thought real tough kid. He took that on at 3 days' notice, but I was meant to be fighting somebody with 7 fights experience, and that was my debut, and I was meant to be fighting him. And then in the October of that year, I fought, it's Craig Rawlins, really, really tough guy, and I wouldn't have had it any other way getting thrown in at the deep end because I knew I could handle myself. But on paper, they see this little 19-year-old kid who, he's asking and nagging, Richard Shaw for a Craig Rawlins fight. You know what I mean? They're all thinking, oh, all right, then crack on. But I knew deep down that I was capable, and it's proven itself time and time again.
Why did you have that confidence? Is it because you felt confident? Because, I speak to quite a lot of guys from Impact, and they all go on about you as being, the kind of child prodigy that they've not really had to work on much, and you just have a lot of natural talent. Were you quite confident with what you were doing to top level guys in the gym that you'd be able to do it, in an octagon in front of a couple hundred people?
Exactly. Yeah, near enough. And mate, it's in my blood. You know what I mean? My father back in the day, he's known for his fighting and that, and then my older brothers fought MMA fights, and I grew up fighting with my older brother every single day. You know what I mean? So I can handle these boys. It's just I'm used to it. I like the confidence, and it's not so much confidence that I can handle myself. I never want to take a fight I know I can win. That's what bullies do, if you ask me. I want to take a fight where people say what's going to happen. Well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try and finish him, but he's going to do the exact same to me. I don't want to be fighting people, like a lot of people in my situation, if they're like 19, they're going to get given matchups like, say I was 1-0, they're going to get, a young talented fighter, they might be fed a couple of, nice matchups. I didn't want that. That's the last thing I wanted. I was asking for names.
Are you just 19?
I'm 20 now, but when I was 19.
That's still so young to be doing what you've gone on to do already.
I've had a hard life.
Well, no, that's just what happens when you get punched to kick to the face every day.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Nah, I'm only playing. But on the 5th of May of this year, you fought Josh Hudson. That was the only fight that's gone past the first round. You got the knockout in the 4th. Was part of you glad it happened that way? Because with power punchers, there's always the kind of question as, has he got more than a round in them? And you showed that you've got the conditioning to back up your style.
I know, mate. No, I think there's people still out there going, "Oh, he's only a puncher. He's got a right hand and a left hook." You know what I mean? But they can keep thinking that. But I love it. That's my dream sort of fight. You know what I mean? That's the first belt I've ever won, and it was a 4-round tear up. You know what I mean? I couldn't have asked for better. So yeah, it couldn't have gone better, mate. In front of all my friends and family, it was a brilliant night. Great fight as well.
Yeah, this is going to be the biggest fight of your career today, and obviously being born in Wales but fighting out of Bristol, is there something quite special for you having this fight in Cardiff? Just because you do fly the flag of Wales when you fight.
Yeah, it is nice, mate. You know what I mean? I got all my family out of Wales, so it's you know what I mean. It's big. I couldn't fight on that September card, which was a shame. But I had to go down Colchester. They needed to send someone down there to do the business, so all the stars have aligned for it. So yeah, mate, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for December.
Yeah, well, your most recent fight against Jamie Ward, another amazing performance by yourself. He's a tough guy, and a lot of people maybe wrote you off coming into that fight. Did you feel that was one of the fights where you maybe came in a slight underdog?
What, against Jamie Ward?
Yeah. I think you'd fought. Yeah. His record's better, but you'd fought his record's bigger opposition.
That's what I mean. But it's not his fault that, as I said, with a young talented fighter, it's not his fault. He got given a load of tidy matchups. Is it? Do you know what I mean? I was 5-0 when I fought him. He was 7-1.
Yeah.
But then you look who I fought and you look who he's fought, and then if you know anything about it, you're like, right, okay. Do you know what I mean? So if I was an underdog going into that fight, you know what I mean? I always fight like I'm the underdog. That's my mindset anyway. So
yeah, and Ivan Blanita, like we said, his record's nowhere near as good as Jamie Ward's. He's 5-1, I think. Well, it's almost as good, but I'd say he's a much tougher matchup for you.
He's a tough bloke, mate. He's gonna come and have a go, isn't he? So he looks like he's got a hard head, like that, like a hard Eastern European head. So you know what I mean? I hope he lasts, because I love a fight, mate. If the longer you last, the further in the trenches I'll take you. So that's, mate, bring it on. I can't wait.
Yeah. And what would you expect from him? Obviously, he's a good grappler. He's got a pretty smothering top game. He's got the conditioning to back it up. I was lucky enough to be in attendance when he beat Adam Cullen, and I was really, really impressed by him in that fight also. What are your thoughts on him, and how do you think your skill set matches up with his? Will your plan be to keep things on the feet, or are you happy wherever it goes?
I'm happy wherever it goes, mate, but I know he's going to be shooting for his life when we get in that. Do you know what I mean? It's whether he realizes it or not, when he feels the power,
just go back to the roots.
He's gonna try and get on the ground, and I know that. And all he's got to do is look at my record and see 6 knockouts. The kid probably can't grapple, but I'll handle myself anywhere. And if we end up on a shootout on the feet, I think we both know how that goes. So.
Yeah. And in terms of the time scale for turning pro, should you be victorious in this fight, like we've already mentioned, you've had a fast, accelerated career. You're still a young guy, being only 20 years old. When would you be looking to make your pro debut? Is that next, or would you rather have a few more and just feel out a few different opponents?
Oh no, that's definitely next. Yeah, that's definitely next. If I had it my way, I would have turned pro straight away, but that's obviously a bit daft, isn't it? But yeah, that's definitely next. After December, I'd want to be turning pro early 2019.
Yeah, and
I'm still at uni as well, so I get the degree out of the way, and then just the full plan is full-time fighting.
So I'm assuming that Cagewarriors would be the organisation that you'd want to fight, to have your pro debut and the next fights after that with.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely with Cagewarriors. You won't get that's the cream of the crop around here.
Yeah, and I was speaking about this with Jack Eglin the other day, but the level that you're fighting at, the kind of top level at amateur in the UK or in Europe right now, that level is a lot higher than some of the kind of entry level pro level in Cagewarriors. Do you feel that you could, when you're watching quite a lot of the Cagewarriors pro welterweights, you could pretty easily hang with them? Yeah.
It's only a scrap at the end of the day as well, isn't it? So you look at the way people shape up and the way people fight, and a lot of them blokes are, they're in it just to, get a decent paycheck and have a go in it, especially early level pro. But you know what I mean. When I turn pro, I'm going to be a different animal compared to that lot.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were at uni. I'm always interested in the lives of amateur fighters. What's your kind of typical day looking like? Are you spending? I imagine now you're spending more time in the gym than studying.
Yeah. It'll be training in the morning, then uni from when I finish training to when I need to go back to the gym, and then train again on the night. Then that's the setup really. And I got a part-time job as well, so I get the hours in where I can there. So it's busy. It is busy. Yeah.
Chris Sterling and Michael Corsten, your teammates, are also competing on this card. Chris Sterling in a European final, and Michael Corsten fights Bress Hassett. Yeah. How confident are you in their ability to win these fights?
Total confidence in them boys. Yeah, they are grafters, and the hard work will pay off for them 100%. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's kind of there's a good wave of kind of new amateurs and pros coming out of Impact, Jim? Yeah. It seems in the last year there's kind of been a lot of hype behind you guys.
Yeah, it's mate. We just get our heads down. And I only joined these boys since I come to uni in Bristol. Yeah. So and ever since then it's just been it's been a really good relationship, and we've just got our heads down training. We don't take any months off training. Are we still there, I mean?
Yeah, that's us.
We'd all, that's what I mean. That is the ring at me. Right.
Hello.
He keeps ringing. Hello.
Sorry, mate. No, it's all good. And the final question I always ask everyone is just if you've got any sponsors, training partners that you want to shout out that are helping you in preparation for this camp, or if you want any new sponsors in preparation for Cagewarriors 100, then the floor is yours.
Yeah. Shout out to all to my coaches and all the boys at the gym. I won't name them all off the top of my head. I'm rubbish at this bit. But shout out to my main sponsor, Apex Fitness Systems. They handle my nutrition and strength and conditioning needs. And then any sponsors that want to chuck some money at me, crack on. Yeah.
Oban, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you fight this fight and then fight next year at the pro level. I appreciate you coming on, and I'll see you in December.
Top man, John. Thank you very much, mate.